For this model, we're going to bring in and connect several bodies, but first I'm going to import the head plate as reference. Naturally, and given the rest of the robot, the back of the head will be on this side. Now I'm ready to start building the snake head on the reference plate. So the first body I bring in is a 10 mm cylinder, which we'll use as the eye of the snake. We select it, lift it up a bit, move it to its position as the eye, and rotate it. I deselect and holding Shift down, I drag this vertex a bit outwards to create this dome, as this will later become the eye. For now I'm only making the left half of the head, so the other eye will be created later. Next we're going to bring in two more cylinders. One is about 20 mm and one precisely 24.1, as this is the width of the head plate. At the moment the cylinders are intersecting, and if I opt to see the hidden edges I can see the small one inside the bigger one. So I select both of them, bring in the Move manipulator, rotate them upright, and then I deselect them and select only their top faces. Move these a bit lower to shorten the cylinders. I deselect again, and now it's time to separate them. So first I Shift Select on any face to select only the big cylinder. I move it roughly to its position at the neck, and then repeat for the small one. Shift Select, move, and place over here. Now we can switch off the hidden edges. Now, as mentioned before, we're only making half of the head, so we don't need the whole cylinder. I'm going to get rid of these then, and also these, to make it easier to connect the bodies later on. So after I have selected the faces I want to remove, I hit Dissolve. Dissolving merged the selected faces, so I'm adding a linear edge here and here. It's about time we placed this cylinder to its exact position. As you see here, the origin is placed at the center of the whole pattern, so taking advantage of this, I can select the whole body and then shift-click on this vertex here to change its coordinates to 0, 0, 0. Thus, the vertex moves to the defined position and the whole selection rigidly follows. We will bridge everything together in a while, but first we need to make sure that the snake head will fit the reference plate seamlessly, as this cylinder does. Let me hide this, so that it's not in my way. So first we convert this reference face into a phi one, and make it half the length by moving this edge. Then I select and thicken into a body. I will also rotate this to align it with what will later become my mirror plane, and now we should connect all of this together. So let's start from the neck cylinder and the eye. We will first divide this with a loop of edges, so I select each one of these edges, and then I hover any of them and hold Shift down. Do you see this grey dot? This is an indication that the vertex will be created there if I hit V, which I do, and then I select all of the new vertices and connect them with a loop of edges. So now I simply select the two pairs of faces and bridge them. Then I bridge the eye with a thickened bit. Now, we want to fill this area with material so that the head of our snake will seamlessly lie on the plate. So first I delete this edge to make one single face that I can manipulate, and then I give it the shape I want by creating a new linear edge here and on the other side. And we haven't bridged the hidden body yet, so we unhide. As we did with the neck, we select the three edges, but this time I'm not hitting Shift because I don't want my vertices in the middle. Instead, I just hover on the low part and hit V. The vertex is created where my mouse was, for all selected edges, and I connect these vertices with edges. So like before, I select all 4 faces and bridge them. Next we're going to get rid of certain unnecessary edges. For this I simply select the edges and hit delete. But sometimes floating vertices are left afterwards and we have to delete them separately. So here's a trick. If I hit Shift Delete instead, then any floating vertices will also be directly removed. This side doesn't need cleaning up because it will eventually disappear after we mirror and bridge. And to mirror, I click this button and select my mirror plane. A mirror image appears on the right side. You might notice there's a gap here, and this is because most of our moves so far were freehand. But that's no problem because we can simply select all of the vertices that should be in the middle and actually place them at the middle. As you see here, the coordinate to become 0 is y, so I set y to 0. I don't need to see the axis anymore. And I will smoothen out this corner, so I select the edges and click Smooth or hit U. One way to improve the shape in this area is to have an editable mirror side. For this reason, we are going to select any face and materialize the mirror image. Keep in mind that these are still 2 separate bodies. We're going to connect them using the bridge command. So I select the faces to be connected, and if you actually want to see what's going on, you can use the section view. And now I'm going to bridge these selected faces. And the head becomes one body. Let me exit the section view. Now I can Shift Delete these edges and smoothen the rest of them. You will notice that when I smoothen a chain of edges, the middle vertices move. There are some cases though where I don't want this to happen. So if I want the vertices to stay put, I hit Shift U instead. And as I don't want any corners with the plate, I will select these edges and make them perpendicular to this face, so now they come off smoothly. You can see locked tangencies by hitting this eye and looking for the red symbols. We're going to do the same here, this time with this face. So now we have a smooth transition from the head plate. We have already given the shape of the head, but we can still make adjustments. And since the head is expected to be symmetric, we're going to define a symmetry plane, like this, and then add everything to the symmetry set. Now any change I make on one side will take place on the other side as well. I would also like to deform the eye a little bit. So I select all 4 faces, bring in the Move Manipulator, and scale it along this direction. I adjust its position, then deform it a little bit by dragging this edge, and now my snake looks a bit angrier. As soon as I'm happy with the result, I can send my snake to Onshape. In case I notice something I still want to correct after the export, I can still go back to Phi, make the change, and send it to Onshape again. The head will be updated live after a few seconds. Don't forget to open the holes for the assembly. And note that the live update will take place even after such Onshape features have been added.